I am 104 years old today, and as I sit here in this uniform, a uniform that feels heavier with every passing minute, I want you to look at these medals pinned to my chest. People call me a hero. They shake my hand in grocery stores. They thank me for my service, and they look at these pieces of tin and ribbon as if they represent glory. But I am going to tell you a secret that no history book will ever teach you, and no Hollywood movie will ever show you. These medals don't feel like gold. They feel like lead. They feel like the weight of every boy I watched die in the mud of 1944 while I was allowed to keep breathing. I gave my youth for your freedom, and as I look at the world you've built with that freedom, I am here to give you my final warning. I didn't crawl through the freezing blood-stained snow of the Ardennes so you could spend your days hating your neighbor over a political post. I didn't watch my best friend scream for his mother as his life leaked into the dirt so you could complain about your coffee being lukewarm or your internet being slow. You have no idea what sacrifice actually looks like, and if you don't wake up soon, you're going to lose the very thing we bled to give you. I am 104 and I am tired, but I am not too tired to tell you the brutal truth. When I was 20 years old, I wasn't thinking about my career or my brand or my followers. I was thinking about how to keep my toes from rotting off in a wet trench in France. In 1944, the world was on fire and we were the water. We were just kids, boys who had never left their hometowns, boys who still had the smell of their mother's Sunday dinners in their noses, and we were sent into a meat grinder. I remember the cold. You don't know cold until you've slept in a hole in the ground for 3 weeks while the sky rains steel. I remember my boots being frozen to my feet, and the only way to thaw them was to pray the sun would come out for 10 minutes before the snipers did. We didn't fight because we hated the man in front of us. We fought because we loved the people behind us. We fought for a promise, the promise that if we gave up our youth, our dreams, and our lives, the world would finally be a place where a man could speak his mind, raise his children in peace, and be grateful for the dirt he walked on. But lately, I look out my window at this country I nearly died for, and I wonder if we made a mistake. I wonder if we bought you a gift that was too expensive for you to appreciate. I want to tell you about a boy named Tommy. Tommy was 19. He was from a small farm in Ohio, and he used to talk about how he was going to marry his high school sweetheart and build a barn with his father when he got back. Tommy didn't have a phone to record his thoughts. He had a crumpled-up letter from his girl that he read until the ink faded. On a gray morning in November, Tommy took a piece of shrapnel to the gut. I held him in that mud, my hands covered in his life, and I watched the light go out of his eyes. He didn't die for a like. He didn't die for a trend. He died so you could have the right to be whatever you wanted to be. And it breaks my 104-year-old heart to see you using that right to be miserable, to be ungrateful, and to be divided. You live in the wealthiest, freest era in human history, yet you are the most outraged and unhappy generation I have ever seen. You have forgotten that freedom isn't the default setting of the world. Freedom is an anomaly. Freedom is a fragile glass ornament that was paid for with the lives of millions of Tommies, and you are swinging it around like it's a plastic toy. War is not a movie. There is no swelling music when your friend dies. There is only a sickening silence and the smell of sulfur and wet wool. I spent 80 years trying to drown out the sound of the artillery, but every time I see Americans screaming at each other in the streets today, the noise comes back. We were a united front. We didn't ask the guy in the foxhole next to us who he voted for or what he believed in. We just asked if he had our back. Today, you are so busy looking for reasons to hate each other that you've become blind to the fact that you're tearing down the very house we built for you. You are offended by everything and grateful for nothing. You think you are fighting for something when you type an angry message from your air-conditioned living room. You don't know what a fight is. A fight is when you haven't eaten in 3 days and you have to move forward into a machine gun nest because that's what duty looks like. Duty. That's a word you don't hear much anymore. Everyone wants their rights, but nobody wants their duties. I see you young people complaining about burnout and stress because you have to work a 40-hour week. I spent 4 years not knowing if I would see the next sunrise. I saw cities turn to ash and families erased from existence. I came home to a country that was grateful to be alive, a country that understood that every day above ground was a miracle. We didn't need much. We needed a job, a roof, and the freedom to go to church and speak our minds, but now you have everything and it's still not enough. You've become addicted to your own victimhood. You've become soft in a world that is still very hard. My warning to you is this: a society that loses its grit, a society that loses its gratitude, is a society that is ripe for collapse. You are living on the interest of a bank account that was filled with the blood of my generation, and the balance is running low. You cannot survive on outrage alone. You need character. You need resilience. You need to remember that you are the descendants of giants, even if you're acting like children. I'm 104 years old, and I'm one of the last ones left. When I go, the living memory of what that sacrifice felt like goes with me. You'll have the books and you'll have the movies, but you won't have the man who can tell you how the mud tasted or how the silence felt after the bombs stopped. I am telling you now, while I still have the breath to say it, wake up. Stop taking your life for granted. Stop thinking that the world owes you something. The world owes you nothing but a grave. Everything else is a gift you have to earn. Be worthy of the sacrifice Tommy made. Be worthy of the youth I gave up. Start by being grateful. Start by looking at your neighbor not as an enemy, but as a fellow American who is just as lucky as you are to be here. Put down the phones, stop the bickering, and look at the flag, not as a political symbol, but as a shroud for the boys who never came home. The American dream isn't about getting rich or being famous. The American dream is the simple, beautiful, terrifying freedom to be the master of your own soul. But you can't be the master of your soul if you're a slave to your own bitterness. I spent my 20s in hell so you could have a heaven on earth, but you are turning it into a different kind of hell with your division and your greed. I am 104 and I see the shadows growing long. I know my time is almost up, but I couldn't leave this world without telling you that you are standing on sacred ground and you are treading on it with dirty shoes. Respect the ground you walk on. Respect the freedom you breathe. And for the love of God, stop acting like the world is ending because things aren't perfect. Perfect is a dream. Freedom is a reality that requires constant maintenance. I want you to imagine just for a second standing in a field in 1944. You're cold, you're hungry, and you know that in 5 minutes you have to run toward a line of fire. You look to your left and you see a boy you grew up with. You look to your right and you see a boy from a different world than yours. In that moment, nothing matters except the person next to you. That is the spirit that saved the world. And that is the spirit that is missing today. You are so focused on your identity that you've forgotten your humanity. You are so focused on your truth that you've forgotten the truth. The truth is that we are all in this foxhole together, and if we don't start looking out for each other, we're all going to go down. I am a decorated hero, they say, but I'd give every medal, every ceremony, and every thank you just to see one day where this country felt like a family again. I'm tired now. My eyes are dimming, and the ghosts of my friends are calling me to join them. I can see Tommy waiting for me. He's still 19. He's still wearing that muddy uniform. And I don't want to have to tell him that he died for nothing. I don't want to tell him that the country he loved turned into a place of bickering and ungratefulness. I want to tell him that we remembered. I want to tell him that the fire we lit in 1944 is still burning bright in the hearts of the young people today. Please don't make me a liar. Be the Americans we thought you would be. Be brave, be grateful, be united. This is my final warning. Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to you in your bloodstream. You have to fight for it, protect it, and hand it on to your children with the same care we gave it to you. I'm 104, and I've seen the world at its worst and its best. I still believe in this country. I still believe in you. But you have to start believing in something bigger than yourselves. You have to find that grit again. You have to find that gratitude. Every morning you wake up in a bed instead of a trench is a day you should be on your knees thanking the heavens. Every time you speak your mind without fear of a gulag is a miracle. Don't let it slip away because you were too busy being offended. I'm 104 and I'm signing off. But before I go, I want you to do one thing for me. Go find a veteran or go to a cemetery and just stand there in silence for 1 minute. Think about the price of your Tuesday afternoon. Think about the price of your freedom. And then go out and live a life that is worth that price. Thank God for one more day. Now go make it count for Tommy, for me, for America. Goodbye, and God bless. I can still feel the weight of my rifle in my hands sometimes. I can still smell the smoke. It never really leaves you. They call it the greatest generation, but we were just people who did what had to be done. We didn't have a choice. You have a choice. Every day, you choose who you're going to be. You choose whether you're going to build or destroy. You choose whether you're going to be a victim or a victor. I am begging you, choose to be a victor. Choose to be the person who brings light instead of heat. I am 104, and I am finally ready to put this uniform down. I am ready to go home, but I am leaving the watch to you. Don't fall asleep on your post. The world is watching. Your ancestors are watching. Don't let the fire go out. The medals on my chest are just cold metal. The real treasure is the silence of a peaceful night. The real treasure is the laughter of a child who doesn't know what war is. Protect that silence. Protect that laughter. Don't let the anger of the world steal the peace that we paid for. I've lived a long time, and I've learned that the only thing that lasts is the love you leave behind and the country you leave better than you found it. I've done my part. Now it's your turn. Don't wait until you're 104 to realize that your life was a gift you forgot to unwrap. Open it now, live it now, and for heaven's sake, be grateful for it. 104 years, it went by in a blink. Make your blink matter. God bless you, and God bless the United States. I'll see you on the other side. I remember the day we came home, the statues, the parades, the kisses in Times Square. We were heroes because we had survived the darkness. But the real work was the decades of peace that followed. The real work was building a life out of the wreckage. You have the life, you don't have the wreckage. Don't create wreckage just because you're bored or angry. Appreciate the peace, build on it, make it stronger. I'm 104, and I'm telling you, peace is a fragile thing. It's a garden that needs to be weeded every single day. If you let the weeds of hatred and division take over, the garden will die. And once it's gone, it takes a whole lot of blood to get it back. Don't let the garden die. Keep the watch. I look at the flag on my porch every day, and I see the faces of the boys who never saw it again. I see the face of the medic who saved my life. I see the face of the captain who led us into the fire. They are all gone now. I am the last witness. And as the last witness, I am telling you, freedom is worth the price, but only if you are worthy of the freedom. Stop acting like you're oppressed when you are the most privileged people to ever walk the earth. Start acting like the heirs to a great legacy. I'm 104, and I'm ready to rest. But I'm resting with the hope that you heard me. I'm resting with the hope that you'll wake up tomorrow and be a little more grateful, a little more kind, and a little more American. Thank God for one more breath. Now go and live, truly live. Goodbye. 104 years of life, and it all comes down to this. Love your country, love your neighbor, and never forget the cost of your comfort. The medals are lead, but the memories are gold. Tommy, I'm coming home. I hope I did you proud, and I hope they do us proud too. It's a beautiful world if you have the eyes to see it. Don't go blind with bitterness. Keep your eyes open, keep your heart open, and keep the watch. God bless. I remember the sound of the ocean as we crossed back to the States. It was the most beautiful sound I had ever heard. It meant safety. It meant home. It meant that the nightmare was over. But for many of you, the nightmare is something you're creating in your own heads. You're haunted by things that don't matter. You're stressed by things that are trivial. Look at the ocean. Look at the sky. Look at the person next to you. That is the reality. That is the miracle. Don't miss it because you were too busy being right on the internet. I'm 104, and I've seen enough truth to know that the only truth that matters is kindness. Be kind to each other. It's the only way we survive. My final warning is simple. Don't trade your soul for a title, and don't trade your country for a grudge. You are part of something bigger than yourself. Act like it. I'm 104, and I'm signing off for the last time. It's been a long road, but I wouldn't change a thing. Except maybe, just maybe, I'd tell Tommy one more time that he was a hero. You be a hero too. Not with a gun, but with your heart, with your gratitude, with your unity. That's how you win the war for the future. Goodbye, America. I've loved you with everything I had. Now it's your turn to love her back. I can see the sun setting now. It's a good sunset, a peaceful one, the kind of sunset we dreamt about in the mud of 1944. I'm going to sit here and watch it for a while. You go on. You have work to do. You have a life to live. You have a country to save. Don't let us down. 104 years. Thank God for every second of it, even the hard ones, especially the hard ones. They made me who I am. And your hard times will make you who you are if you let them. Don't run from the struggle. Embrace it. It's the only way to grow. Goodbye, and keep the watch. The uniform is heavy, but the heart is light. I'm ready. I hope you are too. Live well, America. Live well.